Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to what, Katie? Where are we?
The Haunted Heart Podcast.
We're not on. This isn't Netflix and.
This isn't.
And,
we have
and Kill,
so
right?
we have two things now. So we have the Haunted Heart Podcast. We have Netflix and Kill, and we just have to wear different hats. I'm gonna get you a hat with a label, and I'm gonna put it on you before we record.
Oh, get me a new nameplate.
Oh, another one.
I just switch it out.
We're just gonna line them up.
I get confused so easily.
I'm gonna get you separate holders so that you just have a barricade of nameplate holders on your side of the table.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna knock them over as I gesture wildly when I tell my stories.
Yes, you will.
It's gonna go great.
This is going to be a very exciting episode today.
It is. We are covering. This actually is probably gonna end up being a two-parter. So get ready.
Yeah.
And
so
we
don't have to worry about another 2-hour-long episode.
You don't. You really don't. I promise I'm going to talk as little as possible.
What we're doing today is
she
purchased the book Helter Skelter, and she is reading
we're just going to read it.
No,
that's what you get on Patreon. No, we thought it was right about time to do another All Up in Them Horror Guts. Mm-hmm. Only this time it's the 80s edition.
80s edition.
So get your hairspray out, honey. Get your Aqua Net. Get that blue shadow on. Get those leg warmers out that closet. Get that Candie sweatshirt.
Honey, Madonna is ready.
And we thought that it would be fun to
bring someone
from the 80s.
From the 80s.
So that we don't have to get in our time machine. We brought the 80s to you.
Yes, we have, ladies and gentlemen, we have a person who has lived through the 80s.
Who has lived through it. Here with us today.
With us today.
A relic, if you will.
Excuse me?
No, don't worry. Most of our listener basis is 80s babies, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Do you want to introduce our guest?
that was my introduction.
Nobody knows who she is.
Okay, my mother.
Great, Katie.
It's my mother. We're getting very serious in our relationship, and I think it's time for all of you to meet my mom.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
So say hi, Mom.
Say hi.
It's a podcast.
Hello,
they
everybody.
Can't see you. So her name is Scarlett. You will hear Kenny call her Scarlett. You will hear me call her Ma.
Mm-hmm. You may have heard me mention her on the first episode where I said, hi, Mom. Hi, Scarlett.
Yes.
And she didn't listen, but that's fine.
It's fine. She doesn't listen to this podcast.
I did listen.
No, we just thought it would be fun. She's visiting us this weekend, so we thought it would be cool for her to come on the show and kind of give her perspective on the movies that we're going to talk about today. So
yeah, why the hell not, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
It is. I feel like you are so profesh.
She would. Now I'm gonna tell you what.
I feel like you are on NPR status right now.
She would have a professional podcast.
She would be professional.
What was it you said her spinoff would be?
Sitting with Scarlett.
Sitting with Scarlett.
Yeah, sitting
and
with
it
Scarlett.
would be very profesh, and probably be hella better than our shit.
Probably. Probably.
I don't know about that.
Maybe we'll hire you. Oh, but first up, we have a review we wanted to read, don't we?
Oh, yes, we do.
Yeah.
So, guys, why don't you tell them how they can review us while I get this pulled up, Katie?
So whatever platform you listen to us on, be it if you have an iPhone, it's the Purple Podcasts app. You can scroll all the way down to the bottom when you go to see more episodes. Go ahead and drop that 5-star review, please. Thank you. 5 stars. Stunning. And when you give your star rating, you can also, it gives you the option to type a review. And if you'll just type us a little message in there, some of them are really funny. We appreciate all of them, but this one was particularly... It's just beautiful. It's very beautifully written, and we thought it was pretty funny. So we're going to read it for you.
Yes. So this was posted by a derelict 88.
I love
which
it.
I love.
88. Oh my God.
88.
On brand.
On
top.
brand. On point. We didn't even We didn't plan that, but
No, we didn't.
We didn't plan any of this.
That's true.
Unscripted.
Unscripted, yes.
Unscripted.
Okay, Scarlett coming through with the commentary. Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of just have to interrupt on this show to get
Yeah,
a
you
word
have to
in.
interrupt.
You really
That's
just have to
completely fine.
aggressively.
Or just like, if you do what I do sometimes, aggressively stare at Katie until she like stops
Get
talking.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Kick her under the table.
Like the whole Charles Manson
Well,
episode, the
see?
entirety of it.
Yeah, the whole episode, Scarlett, I was just staring at her like, please stop. Please stop.
You told me it was riveting.
Riveting. Okay. So this is titled Spookiness Awaits. The haunted heart is set apart. Blah.
You're doing great.
I'm doing so well. The Haunted Heart is set apart from other horror podcasts with engaging hosts, a wide variety of spooky topics, and easy listening. Too many shows stumble with self-seriousness when tackling dark material.
Here's the best part.
But you don't have to worry with this show.
Too many shows are too serious and worry about facts and like getting things right and like thoroughly covering their topics, but no need to worry about that here at the Haunted Heart.
You don't have to worry about facts, things that are important, professionalism, or being too serious here.
No,
Not at all.
In fact, we can't be serious.
No, not once.
Last time I tried, I fucking sprained something.
Yeah. It's not very on brand.
It's not.
Not on brand. But thank you to whoever posted that.
Yes, we loved it. It
Please
was pretty good.
continue to send us more reviews. We'll start reading them a little more on the air, probably.
Yeah. The only reason we haven't done that so far is that it just feels like tooting our own horn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we're just tooting our own horn.
Self-aggrandizing.
Ooh.
Yeah, it feels like
Scarlett,
that.
she
But
knows big words.
Yes.
I read as a child, actually.
Yes, you did.
She would drop me off at the bookstore when she went to the mall to go shopping.
And pick you up on the way out.
It's just like, and I didn't abandon you.
And I picked your ass up.
As much as I wanted to just like walk towards my Toyota Corolla in the parking lot, childless and free.
Are you kidding? You came out kicking and screaming.
That's true.
You didn't want to leave.
I'd hunt you. I'd hunt you down.
So yes, we'll start talking. We'll start reading more reviews. So send us more and rate us 5 stars, like Katie said.
Yeah, go to your podcast app. Oh, also, if you don't have an iPhone, because I just like completely ignored like half
Fuck
of
you
smart.
if you don't have an iPhone.
No, that's not our official stance. If you don't have a smartphone, whatever app that you use will usually let you rate and review. So if you listen to us on Stitcher, which is a great platform, they will allow reviews and shit there. So just figure it out. You know, it's 2019. I believe in you. You're smart.
Yeah.
And it will mean the world to us. We're going to check all the platforms for interesting reviews to read. So
We see none.
don't feel like we're only going to pay attention to the iPhone users or anything, because we're both iPhone users.
Yeah. So let's get into our topic today. We are talking 80s horror. And this is really, truly an iconic decade for horror.
100%.
I feel like this is when horror really sort of blossomed into its teen years, which is fitting. This is really the era of sex, excess, and slashers.
We love a slasher.
We love sex.
And we love a teen. What? No.
No.
Again, not an official stance.
So directly off the success of films like Halloween in the late 70s, you had the birth of Jason Voorhees in 1980 with the Friday the 13th franchise. And a little later on with A Nightmare on Elm Street, we saw Freddy Krueger. You really couldn't go to a theater without seeing one of these titles on the marquee. And studios realized pretty early on how successful these films were and really just started churning them out like clockwork. I mean, every year you were getting sequels because people just couldn't get enough. These movies were super cheap to make and just brought in boatloads of people. And teenagers of the time really carried that success. And it was honestly marketed to the young adult men of the time, between the ages of 15 and 24, I believe.
Do you know why?
No.
Do
Well,
you-
I have an idea.
Do you think it might be because the girls would hang off of them in terror?
Well, very true. I think that's a theme that we see quite often throughout the years in horror. But particularly in this time period, you had a lot of sex and gore, lots of gore. So you had bodies exploding, bodies being ripped apart. Zombies were also reanimated in the 80s for a bit. Bodies being impaled, which was, the perfect thing for these young men.
Bodies being impaled?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was still stuck on that one. No, I think
Yeah.
Mom has a point, though, that kind of like, that whole, like, it makes me think of Michael Jackson's Thriller when he's, talking about whole new clothes during a thriller. Like,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
definitely
Exactly.
that sort
Yeah.
of aesthetic.
Exactly. You take a date to the movie, you take them, select a horror movie. You get into the movie, the girl gets closer, they're hugged up all over you. What better would it be for a young man?
You sound like you have played this out
Yeah.
yourself. You sound
will
like you were
never
playing it
tell.
out.
Oh,
Never
she
tell,
will
never
never
tell.
tell.
I got
She's
here somehow, folks. So
You were born in the 90s.
that's fine.
Yeah,
I
that
was
is
divine
true.
providence.
that,
Let's see,
Yeah.
what were the 89?
well,
Just over, though. Just over the 90s.
It's
You
true.
were just-
Yeah.
It's true. Let's
What-
make sure everybody knows how old I am.
what I love most about 80s horror, though, was that this was really a great time for the artists involved with horror movies because we started seeing major advancements in not only film, but with costuming and props, things that previous generations of horror could only suggest of. Now we're starting to finally be able to be realized on screen, which was great.
We started seeing more of the monsters
more
than
of the
in
monsters
previous decades.
came out of the dark. I mean, gone were the times of like, you've got your costume with the zipper in the back and like,
Right.
Now we started infusing technology with it, and it was just really a great time for movies in general because they were sort of, like I said, in their teen years, so they were learning,
Right.
what
Experimenting,
works
if you will.
Yeah, everybody experiments, right? Maybe not. Okay.
You also saw an increase with the horror films of comedies of the horror films.
True.
Very true.
Which are some of my favorites. The ones that are scary but also funny.
Yeah.
I appreciate
that happened a little bit later because
Yeah.
you started seeing movies like Evil Dead.
Right.
Yeah. So, and even then, like, because Nightmare on Elm Street didn't start out as a comedy,
Right.
as a horror comedy. It was meant to be
Serious.
serious. And then later on, once they, you started getting the sequels in, like, he became funny. People started going camping, if you will, with their horror movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is not...
Love a camp.
Well, it's not my particular favorite genre of horror. I'm not a campy person. I really can't stand Evil Dead. It's one of my... I just don't like Evil Dead. Never have, never will. Sam Raimi, I'm sorry. I don't like your work.
Fuck off. No. I like Evil Dead. I appreciate Evil Dead for what it is. It's not one of my favorites, but I can appreciate camp. I like camp.
Yeah, it's not for me. So we're gonna start out, and we're just gonna go. Like I said, Katie, this is good. Katie said that this was gonna be like a two-parter.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is we're
We
probably
just have
gonna
so much shit to talk about.
Yeah, lots of stuff. We hope you're here for it. So we're gonna start out and go from 1980 up until 1985, I believe.
Yeah.
And then that'll be the first part of the episode. Second part will be 85 through 89.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, we'll see.
We're going to see.
All right, so, and I figured how we would do this is we would just, go through each one. I personally have selected some favorites from each year.
Yeah, me too.
And, some fun little notes about them. And, if there are any that we just absolutely dislike, we can mention that too.
Yeah.
Totally.
We can be petty bitches.
Totally.
And mom can kind of sound off on these too.
Yeah.
She didn't come prepared with notes, but it's fine.
She came prepared with wisdom.
Some weeks, some of us don't prepare notes.
Yeah, you. She comes prepared with wisdom and age and grace.
My.
And
Ooh, you hit age hard. Oh my. Oh my. How rude. Goodness.
it's all from love.
Yeah. All right, so let's kick it off.
All right, so
1980.
1980. What you got for me? What you got? What happened in the 1980s? 1980 specifically.
Wait, is there like an
don't
answer?
know.
Okay.
I don't know.
I was like, whoa.
I was just
Doesn't stand
throwing
out.
it out to you. I was opening up the ball in your court.
Well, we
balls.
do have kind of a bombshell in 1980. We start the decade off really strong with The Shining.
Yeah, and I'm going to be controversial here. I've already stated this. I am not the biggest fan of The Shining.
I think, here's the thing about The Shining. Sitting down and watching it all the way through, it's a lot. It's a lot to take.
Yeah.
But it is fascinating, the little, like, minute details. Like, that's a movie that can be a total, like, rabbit hole for you to go down because there's so much subtlety. One thing that I like about watching The Shining, more so than watching it for, like, the scare of it or the horror of it, I find myself watching that movie trying to like figure out Kubrick's like brain as he like is putting together the film, because there are like such subtleties that you see in that film that are really interesting. Every time I watch it, I see something new.
Yeah.
And he actually would change things in the background to purposefully, like tiny things in the background to purposefully disorient the viewer so that as you were watching it, something was off. But your conscious mind, unless you're specifically looking for it, couldn't figure out exactly what that was. And so you were constantly unsettled.
The only thing that I remember, the only thing that unsettled me from that movie was her fucking cigarette at the beginning. What's her? What do you remember? What was her name? The actress? I can't think of it off the top of my head. Shelley Duvall.
Yeah.
That's why you're here today, Scarlett.
Yeah.
Shelley Duvall.
She's not doing well.
She's not. She went batshit crazy.
Yeah. A moment for her.
Did you know that, Scarlett?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Send up some goodwill. She's not doing well.
She's not. No. But that scene where she's smoking her cigarette, when she's in her apartment and her fucking ashes
Getting
just
longer
get
and
longer,
and you're waiting for it to fall.
and I'm just like, I'm sitting there and I'm so stressed because I'm just looking at this fucking this fucking cigarette that is literally like 3/4 ash at this point, and I'm like, fucking ash your cigarette, ash your goddamn cigarette, please. But no, I completely agree with what you say. I think that it is a brilliant film. I think visually it is stunning. Jack Nicholson is
Here's Johnny.
amazing.
And you see that here's Johnny's thing comes back a lot.
Yeah.
You see that itself and you see derivatives of it a lot.
I don't know that I can look at Jack Nicholson and not see that.
Well, did you know that the little boy, Danny, he did not know that he was making a horror film. They didn't tell him that they were making a horror film.
Oh, shit.
Like he was just in it. Yeah, because he was only like 5. So to protect him, they didn't tell him that they were making a horror film. He was just chilling.
Well, how do you protect him when you scared the shit
Right.
out of him?
Massive fucking wave of blood.
Yeah,
I guess it's
Red
Kool-Aid. Like red
Protect
rum.
him from what?
Fine.
Yeah, the twins.
I don't know.
That's not going to be traumatic. Just
a
walking
choice.
into that.
Yeah.
Versus knowing you're going into
Right.
Yeah, for me, The Shining just it's a movie that I can watch once and I'm good.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of flack for that because I mean to be is into the horror genre and say that you don't like something like The fucking Shining is a little controversial.
Well, I like it, but it doesn't. It unsettles me rather than scares me, and I approach it more like
Psychological.
sort of like a murder case that I would cover for the show. Like I like watching it to pick out. Like there's one scene in the kitchen where like there's a ton of shit like this that you can pick out from the movie, but there's one scene in the kitchen where like there's 4 or 5 knives that are all lined up in one scene, and it's like to the right of Jack Nicholson's head, it's in the background, and then when they come back to that same shot, one of those knives is missing. And so like stuff like that is I find really fascinating because it's like the stuff that I would want to do as a film director to like subtly unsettle you, because your subconscious mind sees that and registers it as a threat, but your conscious mind maybe is not, unless you're, like I said, watching the movie just to look for that. But there's a ton of things like that. We don't have time to go through all of them today, but I thought that you might be interested in some of the different translations of the All Work and No Play Makes Jack a Dull Boy manuscript.
What do you mean translations?
Like, because obviously this movie was shown in different countries, so they had to translate that page when he's sitting there typing all those pages.
Oh, yeah.
They had to translate that. So in the German version, the phrase was translated to, don't put off till tomorrow what you can do today.
Oh, my God.
Which is just not as scary.
Don't...
It's just like a Virgo that has like lost their mind.
Don't put
just
off
like,
tomorrow. Didn't you say something? Don't put off tomorrow who you can do today.
I mean, that's true. The Spanish translation is, although one will rise early, it won't dawn sooner.
That's unsettling.
Which is kind of scary.
That's unsettling to me.
Although one will rise early, it won't dawn sooner. Which also kind of sounds like the opposite. Well, I guess, yeah, I don't know. That's just vague and unsettling.
Yeah.
And then in Italian, we have he who wakes up early meets a golden day.
Well, that's nice.
Which is just kind of sweet.
That's pleasant.
Yeah.
Why would you put that in a horror movie?
I mean, it seems like it would be on my coffee in the morning. Like
Right.
Folgers. Folgers, listen up, girl. We have a slogan for you.
Well, speaking of Italian, one of my standouts from 1980 was the Italian horror film The Inferno by Dario Argento. In my personal opinion, nobody does horror quite like the Italians. Mm-hmm. And I just love Argento's style. His use of color is what draws me. I am a huge fan of mood setting in horror, and honestly, I don't think you see enough of it, in my personal opinion. I like when things can scare you or unsettle you subconsciously, like you were talking about, but I just think that color and lighting really play an important part of that as well. But what I love about this is that it's actually it's part of a trilogy. I don't know if either one, you know Suspiria.
Yeah.
Have you, Scarlett, have you heard of Suspiria?
No.
Well, it was essentially a part of his Three Mothers trilogy, with Suspiria being the first, Inferno the second, and then The Mother of Tears, which came out much later, I think in 2007, something like that. Which it's about this group of three super powerful badass witches who rule the world from three different places in the world, and they're fucking big ass mansions, and they essentially have all this money and power and do evil shit to gain it, which is very attractive to me. But yeah, that was one of my standouts. But we also saw another one that I've talked about on the film is Cannibal Holocaust, which came out in the 80s. Which
Very
was
controversial. Did you see that one? Have you ever? Oh.
That was a live, I guess it was done in a documentary style, about this group of people who travel to the Amazon rainforest to search for untapped tribes, and they stumble upon one that is they're cannibals, and there's some actual animal abuse involved.
They killed some animals.
They killed some animals. The director was
abuse.
actually the film was banned in a bunch of countries, and the director was almost charged with the murder of one of the actresses, because they thought that because there was a scene where the actress was impaled on a stake, and they thought that they had actually fucking impaled somebody on a stake. But yeah.
Do we know that they didn't? Did we?
No, she's fine.
There's some proof. Okay, all right. We found her.
Fine.
Checked in. All right.
But other honorable mentions: Prom Night, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Good one.
Love Jamie Lee Curtis in a prom dress, honey.
Another Jamie Lee Curtis one for 1980, The Fog. We have The Fog in 1980 with John Carpenter.
Yep.
So we have those two teaming up.
That's like a match made in heaven.
It's the best. Yeah, they're dream team, high quality horror, always. Jamie Lee Curtis and Carpenter, always my faves.
Yep.
We also have to talk about Friday the 13th. We're contractually obligated to do so because it did come out in 1980, and Danielle will kill us if we don't mention it on the show. Danielle, our Murder Mod Squad moderator, one of the two. She
Yeah.
loves her some Jason. That's her man.
And you know what? We love her for it.
We love her for it. Because we're not going to love him. You can have that, girl.
Yeah.
That's all you.
We still love you.
We do, despite. We love the people that we love, sometimes in spite of who they are. I'm kidding.
Oh, God.
I'm kidding, baby. You know we love you.
Yes. All right. So any more standouts for you from 1980?
Not for me. I feel like on this episode, on these couple episodes, we're bound to leave stuff out.
Well, I mean, of course. There's
100%.
so many movies that, you can't really mention them all. I mean,
Right.
I'm just trying to hit some of our
high notes,
highlights
right.
and what we really
For sure.
like.
So if we missed your favorite movie.
And also, I'm not trying to go too obscure, too,
Yeah.
because we kind of want to be relatable to everybody here.
Right.
As much as we can on this show.
Hashtag relatable content. No, if we missed your favorite movie, just let us know.
Send us an angry email.
Yeah, no, don't do that. Send us an angry review. No.
As long as it's 5 stars. We don't care.
No, we're probably going to do some stuff in the Facebook group around, that we can have everybody vote on their favorite and
Yeah.
what the standouts are, like, from the community as a whole. So if we miss your favorite, it's
Yeah.
okay. You will have a platform on Facebook.com.
Yeah.
Just make sure you're part of the Haunted Heart group. You can search for the Haunted Heart for that.
Yes.
So what was your favorite from 1980, Mama? We're going to pick our favorites at the end of every year.
Oh, gosh. The Shining comes back. It seems to be other future movies take snippets from The Shining and use them during their films. Take, for instance, the movie Twister. When the Twister's coming through the movie theater.
Right.
And you don't see it, it's at night, which to me would be the most terrifying of tornadoes. You don't see it coming, it's hitting you from nowhere. And what was playing on the movie screen before the Twister demolished it, totally tore it down, was The Shining.
It was the Here's Johnny scene, wasn't it?
No, actually it was the twins standing at the end of the hall asking if you wanted to play with them.
Ooh, clogged.
And
She
then
said no.
Yeah. Then right
No.
as they said, come play with us, you saw the Twister completely demolish the whole screen came down.
Because that's when that wave of blood comes through the hallway, right? And is like wrecking the hotel. Okay.
And everybody in the
Wrecking
drive-in.
them walls, honey.
Yeah.
Everybody in the drive-in is running for cover.
All right.
Twister's
so,
a good movie too. Shit.
Yes, it is.
That's one of my
Yes.
favorites.
Yes,
Helen
it
Hunt.
is.
Who
so
was the guy?
Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton.
Who
Yes.
has
Bill.
passed
Game over,
away.
man. Game over.
Yeah, he has tragically passed away.
I'm upset about it.
Yes.
I'm still upset. My favorite role was him in the Alien franchise, but it's all right.
Yeah. So The Shining. Okay, that's solid. It's a solid plan.
The Shining. I would also probably. I would have to say The Shining, even though it's not my favorite movie. It's just so intricate and so detailed that for me it has to be that one because for me it does have that rewatch value because you get something like a new tiny detail that's like just creepy. And I love creepy understated horror too. So I would have to say The Shining as well.
Okay, awesome.
What
I've
about
already
you?
told you what mine was.
What
The
was it?
Inferno.
Oh, Inferno. Okay.
That's my standout
Yeah.
from
Okay.
1980.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Yes. All right, so moving on to 1981. I don't know what that was, but okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So yes, 1981, we saw the likes of. This is when we actually started to. This was a year where we actually saw an increase in werewolf films. Movies about the wolf became popular. You had American Werewolf in London, The Howling.
The Howling is actually a really good movie.
Yeah, you had Wolfen with Edward James Olmos. All very popular films. So the wolf made a little comeback in
Wolfen?
81. Wolfen.
Wolfen. What you doing, girl? I'm wolfing.
That's
What's up?
WOLFEN.
Oh my God, that's how I'm going to tell you that I'm on my period now. From now on, you can be like, what you doing, girl? And I'll be like, wolfing. My mother's very disgusted.
Oh, my
She's very
Lord.
upset.
I'm here for it.
Did she really just say that on the
Look,
air?
we don't have to be ashamed about our periods anymore. It's 2019.
Yeah.
We're all here because somebody didn't miss a
I'm
period.
not ashamed for my period.
Yeah. We're all here because somebody missed a period. For me, it was you. Moving on. We also had Evil Dead.
Yeah.
And Evil Dead in 1981. The sequel's 1987. I'm just going to spoiler alert that. One of my favorite movies from 1981 is My Bloody Valentine.
Oh, yeah. I figured you were going to pick that one.
I have a soft spot for that movie, and it's not just because Hot Ass Jensen Ackles was in it. The remake.
Not in 1981.
In the remake from 05. No, I first watched the remake with Jensen Ackles because he's smoking hot, and then went back and watched the one from 1981, and I do love the original as much as I enjoy specifically just Jensen Ackles in the remake, because the rest of it is a little rough.
So you're watching the original to see the cinematography, and you're watching the remake just for the eye candy.
Yes, true. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. I maintain, actually, my official stance on this podcast is that we could just get him some medicine and he'd be okay. He'd be all right. We'd be okay. We could work it out.
Look at what you have raised, Scarlett.
Talking about her period and boys. No, but I just think My Bloody Valentine is really good. I'm a sucker for when we can have a twist ending that's really effective, that lands, that gives you that kind of like ooh feeling.
Yeah.
And for me, I just really like the way that they handled it. There's nothing that sucks worse than a twist ending that you can guess, that you already know. For this one, I think we flirted with the boundary of like, is he or isn't he? And then when it's finally, the twist in the film is finally revealed, I just think it's a really satisfying payoff. And I also thought it was really cool, like just the mine environment, like the set and the design is really cool.
Yeah.
Because it gives you that claustrophobia.
Mm-hmm. It's like that cramped, like dark, cold feeling. Just like our bloody hearts. Yeah. So, we can't mention, we can't go through 1981 and not talk about, first,
Dose.
I'm just going to get this out of the way first and say that this is when we had the second Friday the 13th, the one where Jason actually comes into play.
True. Yeah.
And he didn't have his mother do his dirty work for him.
Ooh.
Anyway.
Low key.
Sorry, Danielle. Danielle, there are lots of sequels throughout the 80s, so just be prepared because I'm coming for every single one of them. But
Danielle
also,
is just like keeping a fucking tally on her wall, and every time we like say a word against Jason, she just like digs the knife into the wallpaper and draws another one.
But that's okay because you have on the flip side John Carpenter and Jamie Lee Curtis again.
Yes,
we do.
Yes, we do, because we have Halloween 2.
Dose.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go too much into Halloween 2 because we've talked about Halloween 2 in our 40 Years of Terror episode last year.
Everybody's triggered. They're like, oh my God. And the rest of the episode is them talking about Halloween 2.
Honey, we love it so much we made a whole episode about it.
We did. Already did it. Go back on the feed. Find it.
You don't have to worry. But it was still a great sequel.
Mm-hmm.
This one's your favorite, isn't it, Mom?
The
first one's your
first
favorite.
one.
Okay.
It's my absolute favorite, but
I
the second
forget
one.
who said the second one was their favorite. I forget.
Nobody
Clearly not
on
any
this
of us.
podcast.
Must have been another podcast. No, I have heard people say that they actually enjoyed 2 more than the original.
Some people.
I have to go for the original.
Yeah, it's a thing, but still a brilliant sequel. Mm-hmm. One of the best sequels from a horror movie, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. And I love during October when they'll play Halloween and Halloween 2 like back to back, because you really can sit and watch you can watch both movies as one like mega movie. It just flows.
There were like 3 years in between that,
right?
And it
doesn't feel like
doesn't feel like that at all. It's like it's like they literally
picked it up,
just kept filming.
Just kept filming.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant. Love it. But wait, whoa. I think we have to go back because I think we have made an erroneous error.
Oh, fuck. An erroneous error as opposed to a not...
An
non-erroneous error.
A non-erroneous error. Yeah. We have
given erroneous information.
Erroneous information.
What do we do?
John Carpenter didn't direct the second one.
Bitch, I did not say that.
Who said that?
I said he directed the fall.
I said it was...
Oh...
that we had them come together again.
Oh,
kind of, but he didn't direct the second
one. He didn't direct it. He did not direct it.
I couldn't let that slide.
Whoa. It's
sorry.
Okay. Everybody
So here we go.
mistakes.
We're just taking turns. So Scarlett clocks Katie. I clock Scarlett.
It's fine.
And then Scarlett and I both clock Katie together.
No, it's fine. Everybody makes mistakes. Twitter will let you know.
Yes, they will.
They have let me know before.
I'm sure they will.
So it's fine.
I love it. I'm sure they will.
And you know what we do? We just close the Twitter app.
Don't pay attention to the haters, right, Scarlett?
No.
No. So one of my favorites...
Keep dodging.
Keep dodging.
Ooh. I want that crocheted on it. I'm sorry.
I don't have a favorite from 1999. Not at all. Fuck me, right? Fuck me. Fuck my opinion. Fuck this podcast. Fuck the editor. Bye. I'm gone.
Oh my God.
I'm leaving. Goodbye.
No, I was just gonna say that I want Keep Dodging like crocheted on a pillow in the merch store. Like I need that in my life. Get on it, Etsy. Where you at? I know we got some people that crochet. Christy, I'm looking at you. Like,
do you know that she crochets?
I know that she does things with fabrics, and
because I
believe that she can figure it out.
Right?
You can do a whole lot of different things with fabric,
and she can do them all.
Okay.
I believe in her.
Covered.
Can I get to my favorite?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
What is your favorite?
My favorite is a kind of an obscure film for most people, but it is.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, it's kind of an obscure film for most. Oh, all right. Time for Hoity Toity Corner.
Fuck you. Anyway, is the Fun House.
I don't believe I saw that.
What?
Fuck you.
Oh, she said that before you even said the name of your film. I was like, shit, she just read his mind.
I don't believe I saw that one.
I don't believe I caught that one.
No, that's on.
That's the documentary about the making of this podcast.
That's a different genre, Scarlett.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What?
So is the Fun House. So I absolutely love this film. It's one of my favorites. And it's not a shock because this was directed by Tobe Hooper, who also did Texas Chainsaw Massacre. In the 70s. So rest in peace to him. He died in 2017, but he was a very, very influential director in the world of horror. And even, fun little side note, even Ridley Scott references Hooper's Texas Chainsaw Massacre as a direct influence for Alien.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a movie about these kids, and they go to this fair / carnival, and they decide to like stay the night in one of the like old school like haunted house rides. Like you'd get inside the little cart and it would take you through like a little haunted house. So they decide to stay the night in one of those, but little do they know, a monster lurks inside.
I love this actually.
What?
I'm just looking at like some stills from the movie. I'd love to watch this. I don't think I've ever seen it.
One of my favorite parts of it is the fact that they have Sylvia Miles. I don't know if either one of you know her, but you probably would. But she is like, my God, the ultimate. She is who I would want to be as an old person. I want nothing more than to be this raspy, unfiltered, eccentric New York personality right here in Virginia. She played Meryl Streep's mother in She-Devil.
Oh, okay.
But she was also on an episode of Sex and the City. She was on that episode where Carrie talks about dating the city. Mm-hmm. And she ends up in a diner caught in the rain.
Yeah.
She ends up sitting beside Sylvia Miles' character, who is the old lady who talks about spreading lithium on her ice cream. Mm-hmm. That's who she is.
Okay.
Love her. She plays a fortune teller in this movie, and it's just perfect, and it's beautiful, and I love it.
That's
It was actually
awesome.
one of the movies that I think my mother like bought it randomly on like VHS when I was little, and so I remember watching it when I was really young. So it's one of my favorites.
It the way you're describing it reminds me kind of Hellfest.
A little bit. It's
it's
kind
got
of
kind
like
of that vibe.
which is
The new movie
interesting.
from 2018. Like it kind of makes me think of Hellfest.
It's interesting that you make that relation because I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
But that's another set. I like that sort of. I like that setting as well.
Right.
Because it's a little different. You don't see it as often.
Yeah.
So love it. It's a good film. Definitely recommend it.
Cool. All right.
What about you, Katie?
My favorite.
Well, anyway, so Scarlett.
Oh wow. Wow.
So Scarlett, what's your favorite?
Halloween too.
Yeah.
It would have to be the Halloween.
Yeah.
I can't. I have to be.
Same.
Yeah. I have to
Yeah.
give them their kudos.
Yeah, Halloween 2 is a close second, but I had to give mine to the Funhouse. So
Ooh, now I want to watch Funhouse. Mine's Halloween too as well. Just in case anybody was wondering.
Got to be faithful to Michael.
Yes, 100%.
yeah.
That's how you get that love.
Except I'm faithful to Nick Castle.
So 1982. It's true. That's a fair point.
Anyway,
It's okay.
1982. We're moving right along.
Motherfucking cat people.
I was gonna say,
You
cat
know I'm
people.
going to talk about it. I've talked about it on the show before. Mom is here now. Now we can talk about it together. Cat people. She's slow nodding.
Yes.
She hasn't quite figured out that you
Yes.
can't hear her nod, but
Yes.
she is Cat People 1982. So if you haven't seen this movie, go get it.
Definitely.
Go get it.
Definitely.
I actually haven't
pay
seen
some
Cat
money
People.
for it. Fucking download it. We got to watch it right after this.
Yes.
Right after we record
Yes.
this. We're watching it tonight.
Natasha Kinski and Malcolm McDowell and
100.
oh my God, and
What's
David
the-
Bowie.
what's
the
it a-
soundtrack
Bowie.
David Bowie did.
Yeah, David.
Oh,
yeah.
That pulled it all together.
100%.
That was-
What's it about?
Fucking okay. Well, I'm glad you asked me. I can tell you. So if you haven't seen that movie, let me tell you something.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Well, I'm not going to spoil it. What I will say is that the cinematographer for Cat People is currently the president of the Academy of Motion Picture Sciences. So, like, the president of, like, the Oscars, like, that academy. He was the fucking cinematographer for Cat People, and it's incredible. Like, because this movie is ridiculous. So, the synopsis of it, a young woman's sexual awakening brings horror when she discovers her urges transform her into a monstrous black leopard, which, I mean, I'm just going to say, relatable. The other great call out, so John Bailey is the cinematographer's name. He's now president of the Academy of Motion Picture Sciences. Call out from this film, David Bowie's song Cat People.
Yes.
Putting Out Fire is the
Yes.
fucking best. And it was just reused. You might know this song even if you haven't seen this
Atomic
movie
Blonde.
because they just reused it in Atomic Blonde in 2017, which was amazing because I went to see Atomic Blonde and I was like, oh, whatever. Like this looks kind of cool. It'll probably just be like a one and done movie for me. Like it looks interesting. And then like she's walking out of that building and that song starts playing and I like had a visceral
moment.
reaction. I literally came out of, because I was watching it in the movie theater and I like came out of my seat and I was not watching it with Mom. And so I'm like freaking out and losing my shit and no one around me is reacting at
why.
all and nobody understands. And I'm just like, you people. And like right after I got out of that movie, I called you and I was like, you have
Yes,
to watch this
I
movie.
remember you did.
Because you understand.
Yeah.
And so we watched
That's
it together.
a
It was
song
great.
you cannot be affected by. You cannot not
cannot
move.
not be-
Not be
You've got to be. It's got
it's
to
incredible.
affect you.
It's incredible. If I was ever to like do like something just incredibly badass, I want that playing behind me.
Okay.
Like
And
something
then
just
the-
horribly evil or
The
amazing.
twist to it is that once they
Well,
turn,
Wait,
Thanks for telling me.
wait. We can't spoil it.
there is a twist to
There is a
it.
twist.
that once-
Oh, we love a twist.
There is a twist. There's a twist, but I don't want to ruin it for him because I want him to
Right.
watch it.
You want them to watch.
I haven't seen it, so I don't-
Here's
please don't
another
ruin it.
important piece of information. Nobody in this movie wears underwear. Nobody. So it's all about sexual urges and stuff, and like people just like banging every 5 minutes. Then
well,
nobody's
you gotta
got
remember
underwear
what
on.
year you're in. Too.
True, 1982. People were smashing it out.
Mm-hmm.
Present company probably not excluded.
I am also not wearing underwear.
It's the theme for the 80s today.
For that tidbit, Kenny.
Oh, yeah. No, it's great. It's a really, 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 really good movie. I love this movie so much.
Yes.
So
Well,
go watch
I can't
it.
wait to see it.
It's incredible. It's very much it's very weird. It's very it almost feels experimental, but like they really go for it and they commit 100%, and I appreciate it.
And they pull it off.
Just go for it.
They pull it off.
You could say, yeah. They definitely
I think
do
they
pull their
do.
clothes off.
All right. Well, that's our episode on cat people.
Kenny's like, let's see if I can pull this back.
Guess which
I mean,
will
I'm
be
not
our
even playing
favorite.
with you guys. If we could figure out a way to like get it downloaded or like find it somewhere so that a bunch of us could watch it at one time, like legally, like not pirating, because that's not what I'm advocating here on this podcast that the government can listen to. If we could
At home.
No, but if we could find a way to like all watch it, like we could do a watch party for it. I
Yeah,
would
you can do a watch
100%
party.
do a watch party in the Facebook group on
There's
that.
that website, rabby.it, where you can do watch parties and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys are interested, we could do that because Cat People is the bomb.
We might set that up.
Watch it with your mom, you know. It's got lots of sex in it.
So, all right. And to continue, Cat People was not the only film released in 1982.
I don't know why they kept trying, honestly, after Cat People.
You also had Friday the 13th, Part 3.
Time for another read. Time for
Friday
another
the
trip to the
13th
library.
Again. Part 3.
Wow, it seems like they really churn those out.
Very unique.
Like really quickly, like rushed.
Very unique. Super original concept.
We don't hate Friday the 13th that much.
It's mostly us joking.
Yeah, we're kidding.
Or
You decide.
you decide. Or maybe we're not.
We also had...
What?
I bet I know what you're about to say.
No, bitch, you don't know what the fuck I'm about to say.
Okay.
We also had Poltergeist.
I knew that you were going to say it. I told you.
This is how in sync we are. Yes, also had Poltergeist, which was also directed by my man Toby Hooper, another favorite of mine. Poltergeist is another one that's like one of those insanely like quotable movies. You know, you had I can't think of her name. Oh gosh,
The
what's
child.
her name? No, the lady who came in, the medium. I know her name, but I can't think of it off the top of my head.
This house is clean.
Yes.
That one? I have no idea.
She did. What's her name? I know.
This is the
it.
ASMR episode, too, because y'all getting lots of keys clicking.
Shit. Hold on. Zelda Rubinstein.
Zelda.
That's who I was trying to think. I knew her name. There were people that were yelling at me viciously just then. Zelda Rubinstein. Like, you can't. She is such a creepy. Was such a creepy lady to me in such a good way. She also voiced some episodes like a little later on. I can't remember. I think they were like early 2000s, like Scariest Places or whatever. So her voice would always come on and talk about like creepy hospitals and asylums and yeah. And then of course, you know, they're here.
Yeah.
Like such a quotable movie.
There's actually a lot to be said about, and we can't make the whole episode about Poltergeist.
Or cat people.
Or cat people, regrettably. But Kenny won't let me do it. But there's a lot to be...
sees the movie.
Yeah, right. There's a lot to be said about the Poltergeist curse, and we'll probably do an episode on that
Yes.
at some point,
Yeah.
like a deep dive into that later. But we can't, obviously, we can't go into that today. But the Poltergeist curse makes that movie even, like... spookier for me.
Yeah. You also had The Thing by John Carpenter.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Which was also that was
That
Kurt
was
Russell.
the original.
Was that Kurt Russell?
No, not in 1982. That Kurt Russell's in the remake of
Oh.
The Thing. The original was James Arnaz, who also played the sheriff. Or Kurt Russell may have been in the 82, but the
what we're
original
talking
The
about.
Thing, the
Yeah,
original.
yeah.
Which was 82.
Yeah, no, 82.
Yeah.
The girl don't. I was like,
The
Kenny clocking Scarlet.
Yeah, the original was cast by James Arnaz, who was the sheriff on Gunsmoke for that run and the reason he got the part we heard was because he was so tall.
Yeah.
His height gave it to him.
The Thing is actually like
But
a lot of
Kurt
people.
Russell he was in the remake of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is the remake.
Yeah.
Girl, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't either.
Girl, I did not know. I thought the
right.
Kurt Russell version was the first version of
I
it.
thought so too.
Check
but-
it for me to make sure.
Oh, all right.
While Kenny's telling us.
I'll do some research.
No. So a lot of people like this more than they like Halloween. Like they consider The Thing to be some of his better work.
Well, you know,
That's
not
an
everybody
opinion.
has taste.
That's an opinion that is out there in the horror.
Oh, are you talking
community.
about The Thing from Another World, 1951, or is that like a
don't know
totally
that.
different movie?
It was called The Thing.
Yeah, the original was called The Thing from Another World, which was 1981, and then The Thing 1982 is the remake of that, sort of, but they change a lot apparently, according to Google. Yeah, James Arness.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was the 1951 version.
She said 81. That's
Did
what
I?
threw me. You said 81.
Oh, shit.
51. I'm thinking.
Yeah, 1951. So
If you did it in 81,
What?
James Arness would be in a wheelchair.
Well, yeah.
No, so The Thing from
Yeah.
Another World, 1951. The Thing, 1982.
Yeah.
Was
But
a
I
remake,
mean,
but they,
you know,
they
if
shifted a lot of things.
Friday
I
the
think.
13th has taught us anything, all it takes is a year. You can remake stuff in a year and rehash it. Anyway.
Whoa. Wow.
Another favorite of mine is Creep Show. This one of my favorite segments in Creep Show actually stars Stephen King.
Yeah, I'm
With
so
the-
glad you brought up Creep Show because that's on my list too.
Yeah, Creep Show. He was this like really like dim-witted farmer who was all alone, and he sees the meteorite hit, and so he touches it.
Yep.
One of my favorite moments is when he touches it, and he gets like this green like extraterrestrial like fungus that starts growing
Right.
on him.
That makes him
And he calls it meteor shit.
incredible.
And it just starts growing everywhere, and he can't get rid of it until he eventually blows his brains out in the bathtub, which is super sad.
Yeah.
But
That's a bummer.
It had a really ominous ending because you hear, I think it's on like the TV or radio or whatever, where they talk about heavy rain is coming. So it's suggestive that, you know, this fungus will grow and take over the world, or at least his farm.
Well, that was based on the color from the color out of space, which was,
I thought you were about to say the color purple, and I was like,
no, it was based. That was based roughly on an H.P. Lovecraft story called Color Out of Space. It's kind of like where they got that storyline from. But
Yeah.
I love Creepshow. Creepshow has a special place in my heart. Everybody knows that my favorite movie from 1982 was Cat People. However, my honorary for this section, I think this was the only year that I allowed myself to have an honorary, was Creepshow, because let me tell you, you all are familiar with the Halloween party that Kenny and I throw.
I don't think they are, but okay.
I feel like we talk about it on this podcast
We've
all the time.
mentioned it.
I mean, so we throw Ragers, right, on Halloween, and that's like the one time of year that I get like hardcore toe out the frame.
Ragers?
Ragers, like, you know, raging parties.
Okay.
Have you ever heard that?
No.
I mean, you're there
Like
for them,
Ragers?
so I mean, you're in on it.
Never
You're there.
knew I was part of a Rager.
You are. You
Every
know what?
year for 10
We
years.
have buttons. We got a sticker we can give you.
Okay.
There's
Be
a shot
nice
for
since
that.
I'm your mom.
There's a
Oh, I
vaccine
gotta
for
pay
that.
for it too. Okay, all right.
There's
Let's
a
see where this is
vaccine for
going.
that. So we always do the
No
big
free
Halloween
shit.
party.
No free shit for you. You
No
didn't do
free
nothing
shit.
but fucking birth her out of your body. You did nothing but create her,
Look, I
bring her life into this world.
have an
She's trying to
epithet.
make an
I have an
She's trying to make a
epithet.
point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mom.
All right,
I appreciate
go
you.
ahead. Make it.
I appreciate you here on this podcast. So we throw these Ragers, right? It's the one time a year that I'm just like, okay, bring it to me. It's Halloween. We're gonna get messed up. So
She was like it all the time.
Yeah, for real.
anyway, so this one year I was like particularly torn out the frame, and I woke up in the morning and I thought I was dead. I was literally clawing my way back to life all day. Could not move.
Which party was this?
It was a couple years ago.
It's not every year.
Couldn't move. until this part is not the part that's different, okay? All right, this part is the normal part. So I can't move till 6 p.m. And then finally at 6 p.m., I summon the strength. I haven't eaten all day. I have had like a sip of water. It's really a struggle. I have makeup like all underneath my eyes. It's a mess. I like hobble downstairs to where Kenny has also been clawing his way back to life. And we sit on the couch wrapped up in a blanket together and we watch Creepshow. And it was a beautiful moment that I shared with you, and so that is why it has a special place in my heart.
Was this the first time
because
you'd
we were
seen
just
it?
snuggled up? No, I don't think I had seen it in its entirety from beginning to end. But I remember we watched that, and then we watched Grindhouse.
You watched, excuse me?
Grindhouse.
Grindhouse, okay.
Not, yeah.
And where was I during all of this?
I don't know. You were out
It
somewhere.
sounded like she thought you were watching a porno. You were watching what?
Excuse me?
On
No.
my TV? On my good TV?
Tarantino, it's fine.
As long as it's not The Exorcist.
Yes, yeah, it was not.
You can watch whatever porn you want to, as long as
No
you
Better
don't
not
watch
be
The
Exorcist.
Exorcist.
Oh, and also
old
Halloween
enough.
3 happened in 1982. Just so.
Oh yeah.
Putting that
Well,
out there.
thanks, because that was my favorite of 1982.
I hate that movie.
I just segued for you. Yeah, you guys have a disagreement over
Yeah, I hate
Halloween
that.
3.
That's my-
We have yeah. This is a struggle in
This
our
is a
relationship.
deep rift.
There was no Michael.
Well,
There is no Halloween without Michael.
Well, he was on TV. So technically, he was.
Yeah.
But
Technicality.
There's
no,
no Michael.
No, listen. You listen to me.
Okay. I'll give you
By
two.
itself, it is a fantastic film.
By itself. Take it out of the
I don't
Halloween
look at
genre.
it right. I don't look at it as a part of the Halloween series.
But it's called Halloween 3.
Season of the Witch.
Halloween 3.
Season of the Witch.
Halloween 3.
Season of the Witch. Okay.
Just name it Season of the Witch and put it out.
Well, anyway.
But they put Halloween 3 to pull all of us Michael Myers lovers into the theater and then disappoint us because he's not in there.
Listen, I'm not saying that their marketing was the greatest back then. A lot of people were angry. But that what their intent was to create something different under the Halloween name, sort of like a series. What's the word I'm looking for? Is it anthology?
Yes.
Anthology, sort of like an anthology series where each movie was supposed to be about a different creepy thing that happens on Halloween. So that's why you had Halloween 3 and it was called Season of the Witch. But people who were like you were aggressively against it and very offended, said that was wrong, and so then they brought back Michael in the next sequel. But by itself, it is a brilliant film. It is actually one of the few films that infuses a little bit of science fiction into it that I really like, because it's hard for me to get into the science fiction genre. And there's a little bit of like Celtic magic in there. There's the death of children, which is always great. And yeah, and it's about Halloween and great fucking music.
I will say the music was very good. I must stand with my mother on this. I don't appreciate a bait and switch in any sense of the phrase. And for me, calling it a Michael Myers film and not calling it part of the Halloween franchise and not having Michael Myers in it, for me, does not make a Halloween film. I appreciate the merits of the film on its own, but it was a miss for me. I needed them to do their own thing. I needed them to just make it separate from the franchise. I needed them to have the kahunas to do that, and for me, they didn't. So
in all love
Well, they
and
didn't
realize
responsibility
people-
to you, Kenny.
they didn't realize people loved fucking Michael Myers so much.
Ugh.
Right, they didn't. And then when people were so
okay.
fucking upset, that's why they brought him back. But listen, we are a house divided.
We will. But you know what?
On this one issue, we are.
You know what will bring us together? I'll hate Jason, so.
Fuck that guy.
Danielle has turned this episode off. She has emailed us her resignation letter as Murder Mod Squad.
Dear
she's
sons of bitches.
not having
Fuck you. Fuck your show. And fuck your Facebook group.
She's just removed everything. She's deleted the Facebook group.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
It's not there anymore. No,
It's
we
just
love
a
you,
picture of Jason.
Whoa.
All right, so I guess we're moving on to 1983.
Let me tell you what, 1983, Slim Pickens. You know what I got
fucking
for you?
hate 1983 for horror.
Let me tell you, not a lot.
1983 did not have a lot going on. We didn't even have a fucking Jason movie going on in 1983.
Didn't even have that.
Didn't
Damn.
even have that. I mean, you had some. You had Christine.
Now, I liked Christine.
See,
I liked Christine.
Yeah.
Tell us what you liked about it.
What did you like about Christine?
I just liked the whole
She liked the car.
Concept of a car?
Yes, the car, and the fact that the car could take over the mesh with the personality of, I can't think of the actor that played the lead role in that. He was also in one of the Jaws movies.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
He was
Researcher,
in,
get on that.
He
Yeah,
was in
him-
one of the, I think it was the first one or the second one. He was one of the the older Brody Child's friends.
I mean, I think the concept is very
I liked
cool.
it. I liked it that it the car came to life. I liked it that it protected the young man that owned the car, but then at the end it became he had to get rid of the car.
Didn't she? It sort of became like
You mean
jealous, right?
Yeah, she was jealous.
was like
that,
a jealous
he,
lover.
Yeah, did not want him to be with anybody else but her.
Yeah.
Like a jealous lover.
Yeah.
But with the twist, it's the car.
It's kind of an interesting commentary on men and their cars. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like,
Are you
what
talking about Keith Gordon or John Stockwell?
I think it's Keith Gordon.
Oh, okay.
I'd have to see his
Arnie.
Yeah, I'd
The one who
have to
played Arnie.
see his face
I'd have to
Oh,
see his
okay.
to
face.
see because I don't.
That pause had me upset.
Oh, she's gonna get up and
Oh, are you?
Make sure.
Oh, we don't move on this podcast. Is the thing. This guy, he was probably a lot younger.
Yeah, you gotta find us.
Shit. This is gonna be riveting. That guy, I think it's Keith
No,
Gordon.
that's not him.
Well, I can't find any production photos, so we're just gonna hope for the best. Keith Gordon is billed first, so he's probably the guy, Mom.
But he's in one of the Jaws
Any
films
pictures? Wow. Oh, cool.
as well. I didn't mean to bust up the podcast. Go ahead.
Oh, that's okay.
so have we decided on who was it?
What?
Who was the
Keith
guy?
Gordon.
She's,
Keith Jordan.
We
Keith
think
Gordon.
Keith Gordon. Yeah, we think it's that guy.
Okay, yeah.
But we can't get, IMDb doesn't have any photos from this film. I don't know why.
Cool.
Sorry to disappoint.
You also saw Cujo.
Oh, we're doing independent research over here now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mama done pulled out the cell phone. What else do we have?
Cujo.
Oh, Cujo's from 1983.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. Cujo, the ever popular sleepaway camp. When we didn't have Friday the 13th, but we had sleepaway camp. Videodrome. Videodrome, I think, is probably one of the more popular horror films from 1983. And you also saw like Jaws in 3D,
Yeah.
Amityville in 3D, which I don't fuck with 3D in film.
No, it always gives me a headache.
Especially in 1983. I can't imagine 1983 3D was.
Actually, I probably would have
Brilliant.
fucked with 1983 3D. Like, that probably would have been funny. I would probably do that.
But I don't actually have a favorite for this year. I
I
no
don't
favorites.
either. Here's the thing. I only have Christine listed, and I didn't put a heart beside it. Like, I feel ambivalent.
I don't have a favorite.
You know what, though? I'm going to use... Okay, so my favorite from 1983 goes to 1982, and it's Creepshow. Like... so that I can have both Creepshow and Cat People.
Okay,
There we
cool.
go.
Cool.
But then we move on to 1984, where we have, like, some really good... In my opinion, some really good horror.
You had Gremlins.
Gremlins.
Everybody
Love
loves
Gremlins.
Gremlins.
And here's the thing about
Whoa,
Gremlins.
whoa. She's over here making a noise.
Oh, are you
I just
groaning?
wasn't that enthused with Gremlins.
Oh, all right. Okay. Maybe it should have had Michael Myers in it. No.
It might have helped it.
And that is a read.
him just like fucking like kicking Gremlins out of the way with his big ass.
He's just,
Yeah. So one of the things that's really funny about Gremlins is that a lot of parents made the mistake of seeing Gizmo and thinking that Gremlins was for kids, like thinking it was a kids movie when it certainly was not. Much like this podcast is not for children. We'll remind you again. We haven't reminded you in a couple weeks.
Yeah, not for kids, not us. We're not tricks.
Except for your kids.
Exactly.
So while the scariest thing about this film today is the realization that Howie Mandel voiced Gizmo, at the time there were real concerns about kids getting ideas from Gremlins and attempting to cook their family pets in the microwave. So for me,
Honey?
I like Gremlins.
Honey, what are you doing with Frisky? Honey?
Oh God. Yeah. No, I love the mythology of Gremlins. I love the, like, don't expose it to bright lights. Don't let them get wet ever. Mm-hmm. Don't feed them after midnight.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't able to find, like, concrete evidence that Gremlins was kind of sort of inspired by the Trouble with Tribbles episode of Star Trek, but in my mind, they're connected because they kind of, like, some of the rules are similar.
Yeah. Well, the female gremlin, what I really love is that she's very popular in gay culture, actually. Which is one thing that I really love, particularly with LGBT people who like horror. I don't know. She's kind of a drag inspiration to some people.
I did not know that.
She's cute.
The female gremlin. Yeah, she is cute. But yes, Gremlins, an excellent film coming out in 1984. Children of the Corn.
Yes.
Creepy AF. I don't deal with corn. I don't deal with children in corn. I don't deal with children.
Yeah, I remember that movie really creeped you out.
I don't like kids.
More
Here's
so
the thing.
than me.
I don't like kids. And no, we're not going to go there. I'm not going to. No. Not doing it. Children in the Corn? No. Oh, but guess what?
Another Friday the
13th.
Glad it's here. Glad it's here.
It's here, and we're going to continue.
But we have to talk about. Oh, wait.
What?
Do you have
what?
Wait.
What?
I was gonna bring up.
Bring up what?
We have to talk about Nightmare on Elm Street.
Well, I was going to. Silent Night, Deadly Night, though, was another one that came out too. So we have a little Christmas horror in there,
which is cool. Little throwback to Black Christmas.
Oh yes.
We love our horror Christmas around these parts.
Yep. But A Nightmare on Elm Street is probably the standout for me.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that was my favorite. Johnny Depp's first movie role. You gotta back before he was beating women, or when he was doing it on the down low, at least. Now fuck him. Yeah, we can't.
He was so cute in that film, though.
He was so cute. Oh my god,
with that little crop top.
Bless him. We love a boy in a crop top. What can we say?
This is also where I sort of reference, like, you start seeing, or like where you have advancements in technology, like that whole like bedroom scene where he gets sucked in, and then you've got the blood that just, and you start seeing, like, you've got people up in the air, flying around, fucking around, doing all that crazy shit because Freddy's like slicing and dicing them up on the ceiling. But that was one of my favorite parts of that film, was when he gets dragged in and then that fucking blood just, which I'm fairly certain they borrowed from The Shining.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm fairly certain that was borrowed from that. But yeah, Freddy is just, we've discussed this, but Freddy is one of Katie's second favorite.
Yes.
Katie's like second favorite slasher.
Yes.
What is it about him that you enjoy, Katie?
I mean, he's just really funny. And I love a funny man. You know what I mean? Like, I love a mirth-filled, free spirit.
Yeah. Mirth-filled and free spirit. That's how we describe Freddy Krueger. Cool.
No, I just love him. He's very funny. He cracks me up. I find myself watching that movie. I'm on his side, and I'm just like
on his
yucking
side.
it up. I mean, he's pretty good.
Yeah, and we
Also, what that tongue do? Like, I'm kidding.
You know what? Scarlett has left the building.
As I avert my gaze from my mother.
Scarlett has left the building. No, I have had that same thought. But no, like this was, obviously people know that it was directed by Wes Craven. So that's another plus
Too
for
soon.
it too.
I can't talk about it.
I know, but it's another plus for it too. But yeah, I think that's probably my standout. Gotta love Robert Englund. Like, he is the only Freddy.
I agree.
The only Freddy.
On notice.
But yeah, that's probably my standout from 1984.
Agree.
Agreed.
Agree.
What about you, Scarlett?
Yes.
Agreed?
Yes.
Oh, we're
All
in
agreed.
agreement.
Yeah.
Oh, we're all
We're
agreeing.
in
actually
agreement.
got one there.
All right. All right. Okay. So I guess we're on to 1985 now.
Trucking on.
1985, we had another Freddy film and another Friday the 13th. And this time he's #new beginnings. Very new year, new me for Jason.
Yes.
Because he's, I guess, fresh this time. Who knows?
He's fresh.
Yeah, he's fresh. Her. But you had Teen Wolf with Michael J. Fox. Fright
Mama
Night.
loves her some Teen Wolf.
Yeah.
You like Teen Wolf?
I like
Mama
Michael
loves
J.
Teen
Fox.
What is it about Michael J. Fox
I
that
just
you like?
I like Michael J. Fox. I think he's a good actor. I think he's a great actor. And I think he did a great job in that movie.
Okay.
I liked it wasn't as hard. It had more humor in it.
Yeah.
It had more human aspects to it. You could actually almost see that happening. I mean, it could almost be true.
It was #relatable.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Mom also loves her hairy man, so that's probably what
Oh,
it was.
yes. Yeah. That doesn't hurt.
I love that. Oh, yes.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Doesn't hurt.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
She's so demure.
It's fine. It's fine. I do too. Anyway.
I think we all do. I think that's an official Haunted Heart stance, actually.
Yep.
Don't be afraid.
No, don't. Day of the Dead came out. So again, when I mentioned earlier, the emergence of zombies started becoming popular again in the 80s. Reanimator was another really popular one.
That's the one that I was going to talk about. So
Go ahead. That is your segue,
I will
bitch.
just take it. I didn't know that you were going to talk about Reanimator. So Reanimator, in my opinion, unsung hero of a movie. The plot is actually really interesting. And again, kind of like how we saw in Creepshow, where that one segment, the plant segment, was inspired by H.P. Lovecraft. Reanimator is actually inspired by Lovecraft's works. So the particular work in question was kind of poorly received in Lovecraft's day. But it might surprise you to know that it's based on a 1920s short story called Herbert West Reanimator. Right. So wasn't really well received in Lovecraft's day, but they decided to pick it back up and make it into this movie. And it was one of the first fiction stories to envision zombies as scientifically resurrected entities. And it's also the first mention of Lovecraft's Miskatonic University. So they only adapted the first two segments of the story and then kind of did their own thing. But they kind of used it as a jumping off point, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then you also have in the 90s, which I think I mentioned this in All Up in Those Horror Guts 90s edition, The Bride of the Reanimator.
Yeah.
In 1990.
Yeah.
That Bride of Reanimator uses the final segments of Lovecraft's story. So they kind of went back to it and picked it back up. But I just think it a lot of people compare it to the Frankenstein story.
Yes. Yeah.
Because they are similar. But in my opinion, I just think Reanimator is so like quintessentially 80s to me. Like it just feels very... I don't know. It just feels perfect for this year, for this time period. And I really enjoy it. It has that kind of like almost, not steampunk, because steampunk wasn't a thing yet, but it has that kind of really sciencey.
Maybe that's where it came from.
Maybe. I mean,
that's where it originated.
I don't think so, but I think
I'm not going to make that statement because I don't want the crowds of steampunk enthusiasts to come in droves and start sending us negative reviews on
but a
Facebook.
Seed could have been planted.
Yeah. I think if you enjoy steampunk, you would enjoy Reanimator. It's very it's just very creative, and to me it feels like a breath of fresh air in a decade where we're getting a lot of slashers and a lot of like Jason and Freddy and like teenagers and like slasher crap. I mean, not crap. I love some of it, but Reanimator is just something that's so radically different, and that's why it was my favorite for 1985.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this was a popular year for zombies, and that sort of brought back from the dead. Because you also had Return of the Living Dead too, so that was brought back, which was also really cool. But I think my favorite is probably Reanimator.
Yeah, it's just a different way to do zombies, and it's quirky in its own way. It's very like, you have the like body parts like separated from like, what am I trying to say? Like, not disembodied, because that's a voice, but like you have like body parts that are like separated, that are like moving and kind of have their own consciousness, doing their own, like it's just quirky and weird.
There's
like,
a word for that, but I can't think of what it is.
I can't, whatever. you know what I mean if you've seen the movie, and if you haven't, you should watch it. Yeah. Then you'll know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So that's my, I would say that's my standout from 1985, Reanimator.
Yeah.
Katie,
we also should call out, that's my favorite.
Katie said that
we also should call out
Reanimator
Fright
was
Night, though. Did we talk about Fright Night?
I mentioned it. Fright Night did. I did mention Fright Night.
Because Fright Night was good too.
Fright Night was awesome. What about
I
you,
have to go back to Teen Wolf because it was a nice change. Like I said earlier, you went back to adding the humor into it.
Right. Okay.
So I kind of like that was a change.
Scarlett likes her a funny hairy man.
Yes.
She do.
All right. So we are at 1985, which means we're going to come back to you later.
We are. We're going to have to take a break. We're going to have to get a drink. Mm-hmm. We're going to have to have a week's worth time of drinking. We got to go watch fucking Cat People.
We've got to go watch Cat People right now.
We have a lot. We have a lot to do. It's very important.
Yeah.
But we will be back with the other half of the 80s next week. It feels weird to do a two-parter again because like this is the first one we've done in like a year.
Yeah.
Almost.
And then I'm not going to be here.
What are you talking about?
We're recording
you ain't going
the
nowhere.
second part right now.
Okay, I didn't know that.
How can we finish the 80s without you, girl?
Okay, I didn't know that.
We're not actually going to go watch Cat People. We're just doing that
We're
for
just
like,
doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go watch Cat People.
Oh, she's done. Scarlett says she's
like,
done.
No, we're done.
No,
this
I'm
is
done.
happening.
I am not being paid for my time here. Where's the check? You promised a check.
Anyway. You're going to be waiting a minute on that check, honey, because we'll bounce. So you know where to find us on all the socials. We're on Twitter at The Haunted Heart. We're on Instagram at The Haunted Heart Podcast. You can find us on Facebook. If you search The Haunted Heart Podcast, you can join our closed group. It is closed, so your Aunt Stacy, Christy, Sissy will not see everything that you're posting about horror and all that fun shit. Your mom, won't know all of the horrible lewd behavior that you engage in on our group. Mm-hmm. So join the group. It's super fun. We're going to be doing a bunch of stuff about 80s horror for a while, and you can share all of your favorites with our group because, as we mentioned, we're sure that we missed a whole bunch of shit that's really important to everybody.
Yes. We'll see you in 1986.
We will.
We're going to see you all in 1986.
We'll see you in 1986.
And Scarlett, so I know you've never listened to our show, but... at the end of every episode, we do a special Stay Spooky sign-off. So on the count of when we... I guess, we need to count her off?
Are we going to count her off?
Just follow
usually
our
we
lead.
just do eye contact.
Yeah, we just do eye contact. So we'll say stay spooky, but we'll do it in a spooky aesthetic. Okay?
We could have taught her this off air, but we thought we'd do it on air.
But we're going to do it on air, all right? So until next time, folks,
stay spooky. You did so good.